Brothers and sisters, we come together today because America needs jobs, good jobs, jobs that will support families, all families.
We've bailed out the banks. We've bailed out the insurance companies. Now it's time to bail out the American people.
God did not make two classes of children. Every single one deserves a quality education.
The factors that make our nation's motto, e pluribus unum, out of many one, less a promise broken, and more a prophecy yet fulfilled.
Americans know that Dr. King's dream is not dead.
Those were speakers at the One Nation March, a rally at the Lincoln Memorial this past weekend that gathered tens of thousands of activists from across the country to galvanize progressives and demand that our representatives get serious about fixing the economy and creating jobs. For a report and reflection on what happened and where we go from here, we speak with Bill Fletcher, who was at the rally. Bill is our Grit TV labor correspondent in Washington and a contributor to The Nation magazine. Bill, you were there. You were in the crowd. Who was there with you? What was their message to America?
Well, it was fantastic, actually. I'm not good at numbers and counting when there's a rally, but it was fairly massive. And what struck me, particularly when you contrast it with the Glenn Beck rally, was how diverse the participants were. I mean, diverse racially, ethnic, gender, age, political affiliation, unions, community-based organizations, entertainers, the whole nine yards. And you compare that to sort of the white bread image that you saw when you looked at the Glenn Beck rally. And it's startling contrast of these two countries that basically are not interacting. So it was very exciting. The other thing about it was that there was excitement and optimism on the faces of the participants. And to be honest, I'd been a little worried in advance because there had been a fair amount of skepticism about whether this rally could actually be pulled off. But if you looked at the faces of the participants, they were glad to be there, and they felt a sense that we were actually fighting back.
So you mentioned the Glenn Beck rally, and a lot of people on the mainstream media have been comparing this march with the Tea Party. John Avalon at the Daily Beast has said that the turnout was smaller than what happened at Glenn Beck and also characterized the crowd as full of wingnuts. You have a very different impression. Why is there this sort of mainstream media pylon on this march, and what is that about?
Well, it's interesting to describe the participants at this rally as wingnuts when I think about the way that the participants in the Glenn Beck rally seem to relish ignorance. I wonder who the wingnuts are. So first of all, the mainstream media, and I'm not talking about Fox because I don't look at Fox as mainstream. They're a propaganda outlet for the right. The mainstream media did not pay much attention to the buildup for this march. I think that they didn't actually take it very seriously. The mainstream media has been very much dazzled by the Tea Party phenomena, and they've exaggerated the Tea Party phenomena, and they've misanalyzed it. So I think that was a real problem in terms of the analysis of this in comparison with the Glenn Beck and the Tea Party efforts. But when you then enter into this Fox, the Fox News phenomena, we don't have anything on the left side of the aisle that matches Fox. We don't have a propaganda outlet that has so many millions of dollars and pays no attention to any level of objectivity. So one thing that Glenn Beck had that we didn't was a way for a national media outlet to hammer away day in and day out about the importance of their supporters, their constituents, showing up.
So, Bill, this has also been compared to Obama going on the road and trying to rally progressives, close the enthusiasm gap. There was some concern that this would be kind of a two-partisan rally and that it would be all about electing Democrats. What did you find when you were there? What was the message and the issues that people talked about?
The message was not to fall prey to despair, to fight back, that this country should not be dictated to by Tea Party idiots or their political affiliates, that there is optimism, but also that the reasons, the thrust of the 2008 election, it hasn't been fulfilled. So what I did not get a sense of was that this was an Obama pep rally or even a pep rally for Democrats. Clearly, there were people that are advocating actively supporting and voting for Democrats. But what I sensed more than anything is that people want to fight. They want to fight back. They feel that what we voted for in 2008 has not come through at this point. It's been very partial. I think that there's many people there that feel that much more pressure needs to be put on the Democrats to follow through. So hopefully, as I tried to say at a meeting that the Progressive Democrats of America had the day before, this rally needs to have been viewed as our El Alamein, our Midway, our Stalingrad, that a moment to turn the tide, to flip the script, to reverse a certain course that has been underway, as opposed to simply a very nice, thrilling event on such a fabulous day.
So you're talking about playing this forward and making this really matter in the long run, not just for the midterms, but in the future. There were also rallies across the country in communities around America. A lot of groups were involved here, environmentalist groups, labor, civil rights groups. How does this coalition stick together, and where does it go?
All I can say is that I hope that it sticks together. We need a coalition, a grassroots coalition, that's comparable to the Tea Party movement in many different respects. One is that it needs to be fairly decentralized. It needs to be something that's easy for people to join. It needs to be audacious. And in this case, audacity means taking on not only the political right, the Fox News people, the Tea Party idiots, etc., but it also means taking on the right within the Democratic Party. There are too many Democratic elected officials that are ready to cave into the Republicans, that are looking for false compromises. We need to get rid of them. We need to move them out. We need to move people in who are standing on behalf of working people, that are our champions in the elected arena. And I think the other thing that we have to realize is that we're not going to be able to defeat the political right on the basis of money. I mean, you've probably seen the same information that I've seen about how the conservative forces are outspending the Democrats 7-1, that they're already spent $80 million on this midterm election compared to the 2006 election where it was $16 million at the same point. So we're not going to be able to match that kind of money. We're going to have to build a grassroots, door-to-door formation. We're going to have to make better use of the internet. But that's how we're going to have to compete, because we actually can take these people on.
So there's Bill Fletcher on why we need to take on Democrats and Republicans in a grassroots movement. Bill, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll catch up with you later.